Hello everybody, Olena Spicer is here, and as promised, I'm here to share the final flip through of Paperback Junk Journal Prompt Challenge 2025. Prompt number 1 was creating a dangle, so this is the one I made. And I still did something on September 1st where I just wrote down how I found out about the challenge and how I started this journal. Prompt number 2 was creating a cover using masterboard, and I chose to instead create a heart embellishment using a masterboard, and then I printed and pasted all of the prompts on this page. Next one was pocket, and I did go ahead and write a quote on the back of the tag since I showed it during the first week. Floating journaling card, and I added a quote as well, and mine sits in this clear pocket. This one was texture, and I have a variety of different textures here. This one is layers, and I just created these ovalish shapes using different types of papers. Belly band was the next prompt, and I have these digital copies or versions of vintage postcards from friends in my belly band. This prompt was collage. Frida Kahlo is my favorite artist. Next one was tags, and I created just tags overflowing with some ephemera. This one was hidden journaling, and I made a mushroom using someone else's idea, but kind of created my own, and it just says I love fall. It was in Ukrainian on the back side. This was this a fold out? I cannot remember for sure, but mine folds out to this autumn scene, and I have some die cut leaves made from a masterboard and painted paper. Waterfall cards was the next prompt, and it's the one I created one for the very first time. I made a mistake, so it doesn't open all the way through. This one was stitching, and I have both machine stitching and some hand stitching on some of these buttons. Portrait was the next one, and dare is my word of the year, so I like to include it in my journals. Next prompt was stenciling, and I had already some stenciling on the background and added a little bit more. And again, here's Frida Kahlo. Next prompt was stamp and color, and I have some flowers that are stamped on a painted background. Die cuts was the next one, and these are the butterflies that I die cut, and also that die cut came with an embossing folder, which is really nice to do both. Next prompt was page extension, so I added scrapbooking paper, and then I made a collage using some old photographs of two people in the garden, and then I added a belly band and a postcard and a letter that I distressed to maybe show correspondence between these two people. Maybe one of them traveled to Paris. And then this one was poem, so I have a page from a book containing a poem. I found it at a local thrift store, and I like that it has someone's notes all over, and a business card from my local bookstore. This page is shabby chic, and I used a printable, and I arranged them in 2 layers. Next one was hidden paper clip. This is the hidden paper clip that I made. And then on the other side, I have Map to My Heart, where I used the masterboard to create this large heart. And then I picked out some words from magazines that I thought applied to me and my heart. Next prompt was nature, and I did a collage with some of the nature images. This one was whimsical, and I got these paper dolls as a download on Etsy, and it was fun. You have to put them together. They come with separate elements, so it was nice and relaxing to just glue them all together. and add them to the page. Next one is mood, which mine is very fall-like mood right now. And this one was weather. And these ones you haven't seen before, so I needed to catch up a bit. This one is magazine, and I use paper tape collage to add this image on top of some scrapbooking paper. And then next one was challenge, and I just happened to see some sort of challenge going on Instagram, and I decided it meant to go over 10 days, but I just decided to see how many of the elements I can include on a page, and I circled the ones that I included. Next one was a letter to yourself, so I made this envelope with my envelope board, and then put a reminder for myself not to forget to read it later. And then there is a letter inside. And the last prompt was gratitude, so I have some repeated stamping here, heart full of gratitude and give thanks. And then I created these envelopes with my envelope board, and then I wrote a bunch of little gratitudes inside of each envelope. It's kind of fun to open them. They are closed with Velcro, and then there's some gratitude inside, basically a gratitude list. And then I always like to include a current photo of myself in my journals, whether it's in the beginning or the end. And so I thought I'd include it here inside the envelope. And then I just did an extra page as well, where I wrote a tiny little letter to myself. I'm so happy that I was able to finish this challenge, and I enjoyed it so much. And most of the time when I create junk journals, they have a good start and maybe even a good middle, but it fizzles out at the end, and I don't always complete my journals. But I did complete this one, and I think the reason is because of the community. Really, there were so many people participating and commenting on each other's work, and everyone was so kind. And I just want to say thank you again to everyone who left comments for me or subscribed to my channel. I think that's what really motivated me to keep going with this journal. If you'd like to see, so this is the end of the challenge itself, but if you'd like to see the rest of my journal, I'm going to continue with a flip through. I originally found out about the paper bag junk journal prompt challenge 2025. I found out about it actually on September 1st, but I have already created my journal by then out of paper bags. It was just a coincidence, and I was planning on using mine to collect a bunch of junk. Just find a home for all of my junk, not to collect the junk, but to use the junk I have been collecting. And then I had 4 signatures ready, and I also wanted to do some journaling, like writing. And there's this stuff that kept popping up on Instagram and Facebook, all these different lists. So I finally just picked one for October and printed it, and I thought I would follow like these prompts. So my idea was to sort of intermix the junk with these daily prompts. And so this is what the rest of my journal is. So again, I created a bunch of, I don't know, little pockets and things, and I put on each page which prompts are included. So there's a couple prompts here, and then I just did currently. I found this online and printed it out. Then there's some journaling here on both sides of the card and the envelope, and again it shows what questions I answered. Some journaling on these tags under the belly band. And they have the Starbucks sleeve kind of helping them stay put. I made this pocket, but my tags were kind of all over the place. So I decided to try and separate them into two pockets, and that really helped to keep them, to have them stay put. And then the pages, my pages were pre-decorated. I did jelly printing on one side and then a bunch of stenciling on the other side. So every time I had the skull, I tried to keep it and not cover it up. More Frida. I really got into making these snippet rolls while working on this journal. So that was really fun. There are some prompts here, or answers to the questions to these prompts, and then even more inside the envelope. And I even pulled out my hidden paper clip, holding them together. I even pulled out my envelope board and have been making good use of that. And so this has really been a great month of junk journaling for me. More tags, and then again they all have responses to different prompts. And some pages are just decorated or have some junk that I've been collecting or different ideas that I'm trying. Another card with a prompt on the back. A little bit of junk. And these are the last prompts I answered. So I finished answering the prompts. And so again, there are all these little Gustav Klimt artwork tags. And each one has an answer to a prompt in the back. And again, I've done so many snippet rolls for this one. And then since I finished answering the prompts, the last couple pages are again just junk. This is a printable from Etsy. And you get again another snippet roll. And then this was the last page of that. And this was what I actually did before I found out about the challenge. So I did go ahead and do one signature that just has the junk. And so this is the last signature in this journal. And again, the original purpose was just to use the junk that I have been collecting over the summer. Lots of Frida Kahlo images. I tried to use up anything that I printed, any printables. I tried to use all of them, or as much as I could from each printable to finish them off. Here's the Winnie the Pooh collage, little collage. Another snippet roll. These large breads. I was actually looking for small ones, but I couldn't find any small ones, so I thought I'd give it a try and get the large ones, and I do like them. They add a bunch of bulk, but they're kind of cool on the page. And then here's the very last page. Thank you very much for watching, and again, thank you so much for your kind and wonderful comments about my art, and for subscribing to my channel. And I have discovered so many channels, and I have been feeling so inspired after watching everyone's work. So I am looking forward to connecting with everyone through YouTube and working on more challenges and projects. Hope you have a really great week next week. Bye.